now high expectations against J-Team today.
Yes, so J-Team, like mentioned, victory here helps advance their playoff run. For Liyab, it's pretty much a must-win, as things can get really ugly in the standings here if they actually drop to 4 and 6. Let's get into the draft here. It's late night League of Legends on the Sunday in PCS. And our first two bans heavily targeted. No Zoe and no Olaf for Liyab.
It has been the PH special, or rather more on the aggressive teams, especially former LST teams. That's gonna be denied out of Liyab. And meanwhile, Set and Aphelios, yes, they're not gonna be seeing Aphelios today. But now, where is going to be the Senna ban, whereas the Elise ban going to be here in this particular matchup, and that's going to be J-Team removing that one.
Yeah, so no Elise available for them. Meanwhile, over the side of Liyab, no Aphelios, no Set, no, what's the best combination of these two guys? No boy band.
No boy.
No boy band allowed on my Rift.
If you add the Ezreal ban, then that's going to be no
then you're
real boy band.
We're halfway there. It's going to be the Syndra banned out here by Liyab. So for J-Team, that does mean they have the Senna available if they wish to take it for LYB once again.
So Liyab might take LeBlanc here if they want to. We've seen early game mid lane pickups coming from different teams in the PCS, and mostly it's because of their comfort picks. They don't want that to be denied. That's a strong take. So you get Tahm Kench and LeBlanc, or you just settle for your jungler, which Dodoy has sort of removed his Lee Sin recently, I suppose. Has been more on the Jarvan and Ornn for Kaigu, which works well.
All right, so going to go opt-in for more of the team fight style that we saw in the first match with Kaigu. Like you mentioned, though, there is the LeBlanc option that could just go over to Nesty. Nesty, though, doesn't really play it.
Yeah, he played it once, I think. Top Kench is open, though. So
yeah, considering they could have just took away the Kench, really opting to say, all right, we'd rather get the Ornn, and now there's just so much safety for this Senna.
There's not a lot of 80 carry bans as well. So this is more like Liyab saying, we really need the Varus now, which they could have either picked Ornn Kench to deny that safety and the possible flanks of the Abyssal Voyage. You don't need, even though let's say you have a lot of vision in your own jungle, the Abyssal Voyage will just totally deny that and try to create flanks, which has been the kryptonite of Liyab so far.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are probably wondering too. They probably saw Kurd's name actually on the side of Liyab
yeah, that's
here,
true.
up in the top side. That is a graphic error, so it is still Kaigu. But like you mentioned, Rex will have the LeBlanc available.
All right, my heart is a little bit relieved seeing this pick, as they've actually had the Tahm Kench Senna being sent over there, so I was a little bit worried, but looks like it might turn into a strong draft, especially Rex getting his LeBlanc, which has been his debut game in the PCS. I remember that well against HKA.
Yeah, and hopefully we still get that draft. It looks like the draft has disappeared on us, so hopefully we'll get that sorted out. Maybe they also realized that it was not Kaigu, it was Kurd.
It was Kurd.
Now they just want to, get in there with some white marker and just scribble it out. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's probably.
Well, hopefully we're not going to get goofy for our final game.
No, I mean.
Now, if we had a telestrator, which we can actually. If you want a telestrator, I can make it happen. If you want to be able to draw on the screen, I can make that a reality.
We could draw on Summoner's Rift.
We can make circles.
We can make circles. We can
and then production quality. We're left then.
We can play like charades or something. A pictograph. Is that the actual name of the game?
Pictograph?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's just like a thing. Like that is a. It's like, isn't that just a picture?
No, okay, right.
Isn't that just a picture?
Wait, what is the game that you call where you draw something and you have to guess what it is?
Oh no. Well, charades is the one you act out.
You act it, exactly. That's not charades when you draw it.
Pictionary.
That pictograph. Thank you, Opal.
A pictograph. Oh boy.
Oh well. 7 games.
Oh no. If it was me and Fish, we'd be playing Hangman.
Okay.
Pretty much. That used to be our filler. Sometimes it was tic-tac-toe as well.
How do you play Hangman on the
We
stream?
used to have like a screen.
Oh,
And then
that's
you used to
cute.
just draw on the screen.
Okay, that's how it works.
Production didn't like when we drew on the screen
Ooh.
because they gave us this power, and that itself was just dangerous. But, oh boy. So yeah, we'll see what's happening with the draft. I don't know at what point the draft was actually stopped, if it was stopped later on. So there's some possibilities that what we saw isn't technically locked in. Usually it is, so I think we can just go with the fact that we're likely going to see a Senna and a Kench in the bot lane on the side of J Team, and then we're likely going to see that Varus-Jarvan combo, at least for Liyab.
Well, the thing about the Senna Tom Kench is that it just means that they're just going to chill in the bottom side of the map, which is usually the opening or the window for Liyab to create that early game lead so that they can snowball in. So that's the reason why they're perfectly fine, like giving away the Senna and the Kench, because they also had that plan of, you know, getting the Ornn and as well as the Varus for themselves, and more importantly, the LeBlanc for Rex.
Yeah, Rex on his LeBlanc. It is blind, though. Reminder.
Yeah.
So again, there's some options for Nest. You could go something that's just super tanky and then just try and soak up as much damage. Could be the Galio. We've seen it before. And then just look for the team fight combos on the side of J Team. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think this draft looks a little bit like better in comparison to what we've seen recently for Liyab, and I think it's easier to execute. It's familiar, and I think it plays to their strengths.
Yeah, well, we're back into the draft, so that is actually what I think it was. They just wanted to scribble out the Kurd, put in the Kaigu. There we go. So, Lee Sin going to be banned away from Doidoi, and it is going to be the Pantheon and Galio banned out for J Team. Correction, I thought it was a Jarvan. It was being hovered, I remembered. It was actually Ornn locked in for Kaigu.
Ornn for Kaigu, so that's going to be good news. It has performed well for Liyab. Once, it was the cleanest game I've ever seen from this team. Now J Team, again, all of these teams really want to force these junglers into a Jarvan 4. This is the second time we've seen bans just trying to funnel that choice in for that jungler, and I feel like it's only because, you know, Dodoi was definitely more comfy either on the Lee Sin. He's never played Rek'Sai before. This is going to be Karma.
Oh, okay. So Karma getting locked in. Maybe more toward James, just trying to help buff Exosin during the lane phase, as well as give him a little bit more mobility. That's kind of what we saw from Nova's bot lane before.
Is this going to be... This is going to be a surprise jungler. Or a totally, like, yeah, we get it. Because J Team, totally playing standard so far. For Liyab, we've seen Karma a couple of times. I don't know why Hecarim entered my head, but it's really good.
You want to
with
see the
Karma.
Hecarim?
I want to see the Hecarim, but I highly doubt it's gonna.
Okay, so there is a story. Nesty does have a disgusting Yasuo. He is known as a solo queue god with Yasuo by many players. I don't see it. That makes more sense.
Fine.
A Kiana in the mid lane, because like the only knockup he's relying on is the Gragas, which isn't a bad thing. The Gragas Yasuo combo can work, but it looks like they want to go for more team fight focus.
That is going to be the plan, as again, this has been the technique for the previous match that we also had, forcing out the Jarvan 4 on the jungler. It's going to be, of course, less effective as we've seen so far in the PCS. We see high win rates coming from Rek'Sai. I think it's the highest in the jungler department. And of course, Dodo's Lee Sin has been feared. Now he's at the Jarvan 4.
Yeah. Heard that. Rex is going to have to demonstrate a bit here in lane, especially going up against a Kiana. We've seen the Kiana mid do disgusting amount of damage, especially going for solo kills. So I want to keep track of Rex in particular. I want to see whether or not Doidoi tries to assist him, because that's really a lane that if he can visit often, he can try and snowball out of control. But that is up to Doidoi.
I really love the bans. Actually, it is the plan for Liyab that they got the Varus first, because it could have been either Lee Sin Ornn. Oh well. Because I was looking forward to this is the Cap Jug combo, you know? Lee Sin LeBlanc, Rek'Sai LeBlanc, because it works well with the tether and the knockups. But it's going to be the Jarvan this time, so I have full trust on Liyab.
Jarvan, they want to try and maybe lock down some of these members. You gotta be careful though. You create terrain for the Kiana to use her ultimate on as well during these team fights. Our final game of Week 4 underway. Playoff implications for both of these teams when it comes into seeding, as well as whether or not they even make it into the playoffs.
Gonna be a crucial game for both of these teams. As again, J-Team starting the night around even 8th place, but they got their victory against Talon Esports. I believe that makes them 5-8 right now on the record.
Yes, currently 5-8. They are tied with Hong Kong Attitude, and I believe they're also tied with Nova. So we actually have a 3-way tie for 6, which means one of these teams can actually get in there. So it depends on the head-to-head, which J-Team actually don't own against Nova. And Hong Kong Attitude, they're only in a tie, 1-for-1. Now, if they're able to do that, if they're able to take home the victory, they would knock Liyab actually into this position.
Oof.
So that's how close the bottom half of our playoff pool is. Minus Resurgence, which, to my knowledge, as far as playoffs go, they are relying on other teams' results and then getting every win in their favor in order to make a comeback to try and jump up in the standings once again to make playoffs. Fun fact, though, we didn't get to mention, AHQ have locked in a playoff slot already. Only on Week 4. That's how far ahead. Machi could do the same next week if they're able to win their first game.
That's how strong they have started the split. I mean, they have dwindled a little bit here and there, just a few games, but they're still at the top of the charts.
Liyab, they showed some promise in a couple of games early on in the split. You know, some even weeks, 1-1, you know, 1-2, 2-1 here and there.
Yeah.
But the last week in Week 3 was kind of a collapse. And obviously it's shown the fact that they are now starting Kaigu over Kurd. That is a major statement toward Kurd in particular, saying you might be a very talented laner, but if you're not playing with the team, we just can't do it.
And it all started actually with that Liyab versus Resurgence match. Imagine Resurgence had 0 wins up until they met Liyab. So you could tell that Liyab, when they crash, they really go down.
Oh, James, though, able to sneak up into the brush, is able to get the root into the knock up here from Doi. Maybe a little too far into the action as he has to flash away. Now James is going to have to take a decent chunk of damage as well. Lil V able to just still output damage with these autos. And no priority onto that Senna. She's the one doing damage in the lane, and that was almost first blood given on over.
Everyone was so low. Dodoi and James in particular, and I was a little bit afraid for them. Especially imagine if Hana was around as well. That could have been a tricky gank and a disaster counter gank for Liyab. And Dodoi got 1 tower hit, forced to use a flash, and of course they're gonna be not as tanky as right now, so that's gonna be a win for J-Team.
Luckily, though, for Liyab, they don't have to burn any summoners on their bot lane, at least, so they get to keep their flashes. James actually would have had to if the tongue whip actually would have landed from the Kench. Would have slowed him. But I like the aggression from Doi. It's got to be tempered aggression, though. And that almost ended up costing them first blood, and we know what happens when this team falls behind early. It just becomes a bit of a... Well, it's either two forms. It's either we're going to... shut down and hope, we can get something in the late game, or they're going to make really risky calls. Look at that. James on the first back. Going to help invade with Doi. Doi, though, does spot out the ward, so they are known where they are. James also reveals himself by using the Q on the Raptors.
Well, good news for bot lane of J-Team. This is a Senna and Pumpkin. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be going all in on Exocen once they find out that the support will be roaming around. So this is going to be good news. Meanwhile, Dodoi still lurking around that area. Everything has been fully cleared, only the ground left. He's going to go on his first back, I suppose.
Well, top lane, Kaigu getting a little bit aggressive. Hana, though, decides not to go for the play. Instead, opting to head on back. Has picked up his boots for his Predator. So now we get to see this Gragas make appearances.
the lane that they could potentially deal a lot of havoc would be Liyab's bot lane. The reason why they carried out the Karma is to compensate for the lack of mobility that the Varus has.
And Hana's coming down, so unfortunately here, we'll see. Thomas, oh, he's stepping up really far forward. Oh, gets slowed down by the Q of Woody. Now the stacks can start applying. That is going to get the root, but here comes Hana over toward the side. James able to flash away, but unfortunately the body slam still lands. James barely any health, and he gets taken down. First blood onto the Senna. It is traded immediately, though, by Exisen.
That's going to be an exchange kill for both of these sides, but at the end of the day, J-Team gets that first blood.
Gets the first blood bonus. Exisen, though, will be able to at least crash this into the tower, so Woody, we'll see if he's able to actually soak up the wave, and yeah, he should be able to, so unfortunately, Liyab aren't going to be able to deny any experience or souls away from Senna.
Yeah, LYB was quite low there, so James wanted to land in a little bit more pokes. But in the meantime, that's going to be the last auto by LYB to get that kill on first blood. Meanwhile, Exisen getting an exchange kill on towards Senna, but Liyab getting that dragon. Perfect timing too, so they didn't have to worry about the Rift Herald existing at that portion of the map, so they got that early, therefore they can contest that instead of trading an objective in the map.
So elsewhere, Rest is still getting himself a slight little bit of a CS advantage. He tries to push in Kaigu. Also got the call, so he's going to get that nice spike later. Meanwhile, this mid lane, I wanted to see how Rex is going to be able to approach this on his LeBlanc. Hana, though, over toward the side. Rex is going to spawn him out on top of a ward. Nesty coming on over. Flash engage with a supreme display of talent. They get the wrong clone, but they actually are able to kill both. It doesn't matter. Hana picks up the kill, and Rex is eliminated.
Nesty is popping up here. That was a flashy play, literally, against Rex, and he wasn't prepared for it at all.
Yeah, Rex ends up just trying to get some wards down, but little does he know his ward is a little too good as Hana was already there, and yeah, unfortunately, not much he can do as he gets stunned up against the wall.
That was just beautifully done, and Hana, with the initial damage, has chunked Rex enough for one combo for Nesty to just deal for the eliminations.
We'll see Exisen able to get a little shot there with the piercing arrow. Not able to fully connect, but still. This bot lane. Look at the CS total. It's only a slight disadvantage there for Woody and LYB, but still scaling up just fine. You haven't had to worry about much. Getting that kill early on the Senna is a nice little boost to her.
Definitely, as additional souls has been autoing for sure earlier. And in the meantime, the reason why we've seen so much success on LeBlanc picks is their constant tag along with the jungler. You haven't really seen that before. I remember watching the Wards documentary about how Dodoy and Rex are quite close.
Mm-hmm.
So, hoping to see that sort of synergy be apparent in this
The
game.
best friend synergy.
The best friend synergy.
Rex in the mid lane is able to land a little combo with the chain, gets the electrocute proc off. We'll back off as Dodoy, his good friend, setting up the blue buff for him.
And right now, Rift Herald has spawned. So, that could be the play for later.
Hana doesn't even care about the ward. He
Oh.
runs into the mid lane. Looking to get some pressure. Liyab were able to secure the Infernal Drake earlier on in the game. I think it was during a replay. So they do have that one objective for them. We've yet to see the trade of the Rift Herald on the top side of the map, and that's still the first Shelly.
Agreed. Taking that early Drake really helped out Liyab contest for the next objective on the top side of the map, which is great. So now they have eyes on this prize. They have eyes on this Rift Herald. And for sure, if J-Team decided to dive Exosen in the bottom lane, then that will be an automatic take. Actually, don't even need that call. They're just doing it right now.
Yeah, there we go. Kaigu comes down after pushing the wave. Rex headed it back to base. So Doidoi gonna try and run interference here as he's gonna go ahead, goes the flag drag into the Cataclysm, but they're both stunned inside the pit. Rex is able to find the kill in the end. Cannon Barrage not able to finish off Rex. Rex though coming over. Kaigu gonna be the main target here as Rex tries to pop the barrel. Not able to find it though. One more Q will do it. Flashing forward, ends up getting the auto attack. Rex wants to join back. Rex though gets a kill because Doidoi ends up walking back into the middle of the fight.
What just happened there? So Liyab started the Rift Herald. They wanted to get this fight. There's the Orange Horn. But at the same time, they're just basically in that Cataclysm with all the damage funneled towards that area. So a lot of the Liyab people were already quite low. Kaigu stuck here because of the Cannon Barrage, and in the meantime, everyone else is practically healthy from JT.
I have to question why Doidoi wanted to try and go back for this. You got no health there. You're just running directly into a gangplank. Meanwhile, bot lane, Exazin was looking for a kill. Gets the piercing arrow. As Woody barely gets out.
One more, two more.
Oh, he can't do it. Oh, he did flash. Oh, that's tragic. And he gets the kill in the end.
Nicely done by XSN. It's going to be a good exchange there. And after that unfortunate loss in the jungle of Liyab, they get at least one kill over to XSN. Now he's 2-0-0. Glaive already completed for that Varus. And again, the timing is just perfect. So they get this second dragon of the game. I believe the Rift Herald has been acquired by J-Team earlier.
So Liyab do secure the second dragon of the game in response. So still keeping up with objectives, but that Rift Herald is in hand for J-Team if they're able to find a good play and get multiple members down. Mountain Soul will be with us for our final game of Week 4.
Indeed. As Liyab, I suppose that will be very handy for the side of J-Team, especially with a lot of like poke burst.
Kaigu, he's gonna use the Orange Horn. Oh!
Oh, that's so cute though. That is such a cute reaction. Not gonna lie.
Sure, we'll call it cute, that interaction. We'll call Kaigu banning his ultimate. Oh, that's rough. Okay.
Okay.
It's late. It's late.
It's
Give him
late.
that. It's midnight. Nest, not Nest, Rest is still up in that top lane. Rex, though, had to back off. Doidoi trying to sneak his way in. He says, oh, these are some juicy raptors. Able to steal it away. Meanwhile, hello, that's a flash engage. Here comes SC with the wall. And that's why you don't Cataclysm. You end up trapping yourself. Supreme display of talent, almost able to clip them into the wall. Meanwhile, though, here comes the Senna as Lil V is able to find the root. Exosin over toward the side. Woody, though, eats up his carry.
We were talking about how effective a LeBlanc would be whenever you would tag with your jungler. This was not one of those cases. This was a little bit of a disaster as JT managed to get the first jump in. Rex didn't even have mana at the time, didn't have enough mana.
Meanwhile, bot lane, they're going to keep on going. Exosin going to get taken down. Lil V gets himself another kill. And it's starting to get a little bit goofy here as now Rift Herald is going to be propped, and it is going to take down those turret plates before 14 minutes.
It's going to be a lot of gold being funneled over here at the bottom lane of J-Team. Lil V and Woody will be happy to take that. This is such an early take. Will be the first tower for J-Team.
Oh man,
no.
He's too close to the action. He has to flash away. The exhaust is still there. And this Senna is starting to get a little bit out of control. And this is fasting Senna. This is supposed to be the point of the game. She isn't a monster. It's already starting.
Exactly. The little bit of walk was just a little bit distracting. That's a good snipe coming from Exosin. But yeah, this is why, Liyab was a little bit comfy going into this matchup because you know that J-Team will be stronger later on. That was the nice setup of the Abyssal Voyage on top of the Cannon Barrage. So beautiful setup, beautiful damage. Lil V, after this is 3-1-1. And I guess the puzzling thing is that Ham is still stuck around for this one, probably trying to get chip damage on towards the Rift Herald. But at the same time, you risk yourself of getting caught out like this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, like Hamas at that point. what are you really going to gain if you're able to stop that Rift Herald? There's still minions crashing in on the tower. It's just another kill onto the Senna. Finishes their first item already. Also still has stopwatch available.
Oh.
Oh, this is a... What do they call, like, rough over in the Philippines? Like, what's the saying when it's, like, it's not going well?
Wow. Okay, I was caught off guard. It's not working out. It's so funny that I can't come up with anything. It's just, you know, the usual would be FF at 20 is the usual thing that you say. But at this, Liyab still has a lot to bank on. We still have Rex with the burst damage later on, and as well as Exosen with a setup. We've never seen them together as a 5v5. So with Kaigu with the Ornhorn, that would be the perfect setup, assuming they would be able to execute that.
Unfortunately, it now forces Exosen and Hamas to have to come into this mid lane. You also see Hana, who's been everywhere on this Gragas so far. Once he got the Predators, instantly wanted to go for plays. That's what we like to see from the Gragases. ST is going to go up toward top lane, just clear out that wave and keep Kaigu at bay. As where have they sent Rest? Down to the bot lane.
So we're going to be seeing the swap already happening, as that is already an open lane for J-Team to keep shoving. And meanwhile, that's going to be more or less 5 seconds on the clock for the next Dragoness spawn. For sure, J-Team has the upper hand in taking these fights now that we see Lil V finishing that first item already, and as well as a stopwatch. It's a little bit of safety for Lil V there.
Let's see, Exosen just going to charge up. Not going to find anyone, though, as, like we mentioned, Mountain is live. Liyab may be looking for it. Ooh! Rex!
Woo!
That's when you spam the W right when you go over the wall and you realize you have made a mistake. He's going to still just double distort in. He's going to... Ooh, that's a very nice stun coming out from the Kiana ultimate. Now they're engaged possibly here for Hana. A nice Senna ultimate is there.
Wow.
Cask is going to be used. Kaigu's stuck against the wall. A lot burned here by J-Team. This might be the opportunity for Liyab to try and go for a fight.
J-Team's members are quite low at the moment. Really nice poke done by Exosen. Rex is still there. He is spotted by a ward. They're starting all over again.
Kaigu going to teleport in. Has the Ornhorn. Not available, but still going to be full health as Doi tries to leash the dragon back over to the side of Liyab. Let's see, 50-50. Who wants to go for the Drake? Nesty jumps back over. Dragon is going to reset. Down to 2,000 health. Kaigu wants to jump in. Has the smite available. They try and go for it. Double smite available on the side of Liyab. They're just going to go ahead. Hard force. Cataclysm comes down. But even with 2 smites, Liyab are not able to secure the dragon. And like that, Kaigu's going to get taken down. Doi gets exhausted. You know what's going to happen. Liyab knows what's going to happen. And it's another 2 kills over to J-Team.
J-Team is on a roll right now. And not only getting that first dragon for themselves, they also will lead towards that Rift Herald, which is open right now and will completely bolster their already commanding lead at the start of this game. I want to question. Rex was kind of healthy still at that point, wasn't able to apply pressure on the side. There was so many chunk down players on the side of J-Team there earlier.
Like that, it's going to be Rift Herald taken here by J-Team. It's a 5,000, almost 6,000 gold lead. And I got to give it to Liyab. They were getting creative during that dragon. They brought in Kaigu with an extra smite. But even that available, 2 smites on your side. But all it took Hana was 1.
And that was the plan coming from Liyab. You see Rex still hovering around. He was so far to make an impact. After that W being unleashed, Rex was still walking around and was walking back and forth. So I'm not really sure what the plan was. Like, what did Liyab wanted to do? Because you see Rex going back and forth in that area for so long. For so long. Not even, probably waiting for cooldowns, as, you know, Rex had to use Distortion to avoid the Kiana flash. But after that, it was, yeah, basically waiting for cooldowns.
Oh no, he was walking back and forth there for about 20 seconds.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a long time.
Didn't use the ultimate distortion, so Rex a little bit questionable on how he handled that. And that does allow J-Team to pick up 2 extra kills. They also got the Rift Herald at the end there. We got Predator being procced. Rex caught out toward the side. Oh my god!
Oh.
Nesty and Hana. Yeah, I just heard the chat spam come through. If it was question mark pings, I could understand because that was an insane amount of damage.
That was so just bursty, and it was even more of just walking casually with the Predator in. Because Rex already used, I think, the double distortion to clear the wave, so there's not a lot of escape tools to begin with for Rex. It was the perfect timing. They found Rex just trying to clear the wave, really.
Rex, though, caught in a side lane with no vision. I've heard this tale before when it comes to Liyab, and it's starting to become reoccurring, which is very concerning.
Yeah, Rex on the Zoe last time, but it has been one of the big weaknesses of Liyab here, which has been the vision, and it has been one of those things that really bolster down below. I won't call it bolster, but it has been a difficult day for Liyab because this keeps happening.
Fortunately, the trend continues here for Liyab as they find themselves now down 6,000 gold. Mountain joining the Rift again in about 90 seconds. Vision game, a lot expensed up toward the top side of the map now for Liyab. Just try and let one of the side lanes push in, but other than that, it's looking pretty dark down in the south side river.
True, as we see Kaigu trying to secure this one out to add more vision in the pool of that area in general. I'm going to give that to Dodoi over here, who is 1 level below. Totally fine. Or do need that level 11. And Exosen has been very consistent still, though. Like, although this is a little bit advanced.
I'm sorry. You doomed him.
Oh,
he gets caught out here. Oh, the ultimate. Oh, it's a murder in mid lane. There's even a Gangplank ultimate. And it seems the caster curse is struck. As that's now Rift Herald in mid lane. Shelly gonna get a charge. Doesn't take down the tower, but ooh, X is in a little too far forward there.
And timing is perfect too, because next dragon's about to spawn. A little afraid about him, as I've seen this once. And with that said, we will take a look at that again. Exosen.
I don't know if you want to look at this again. What are you trying to aim
I
at?
will close my eyes a little bit.
Oh, I don't know.
Tell me when it's over.
They're still putting a cannon barrage on the body.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Right.
It didn't look too good there.
Okay,
8,000 gold now in favor of JT. It's actually 9,000. They keep extending this lead. And now get themselves their second Mountain Drake.
Kaigu has his upgrades working out for him. It's just that we need more of the fights where he will be involved to set up for Exosen, to set up for Rex. Rex right now does have the Luden's Echo at least going for Nesty though. He likes his flashy plays. We might see that again as Dodoi does spot Nesty out. Therefore scaring the Kiana away. Just back off and try another day in eliminating Rex. In the meantime, Liyab really still has to pick up the pieces here. It's been tough.
It's been very tough. This is a rough week for the squad after a chaotic week 3. Unfortunately, it looks like they're setting themselves up to only have the 1 victory so far. Rex trying to find a pot. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's Rex though, flying all over the place. He does take down 1 member before he gets taken out. Dodoi getting caught there by the root. J-Team going to set themselves up once again. Cataclysm down. Dodoi looking to escape. Woody trapped within the Cataclysm. It's a 1-for-1 in the very end, but Rex is the one taken down.
They eliminate the jungler, but Rex is going to be very important, and I think that's a pretty worth exchange for J-Team because Nesty has been laying down the hurt on Liyab here.
Yeah, I saw there. Unfortunately, Cask ended up taking LeBlanc just out of range of the supreme display of talent. Nessie also picking up a 600 shutdown. Isn't the best. Unfortunately, Rex kind of got himself a bounty off that one kill alone.
Oh dear. And J-Team right now, I mean, they came out from a victory. They're feeling really good and confident. Going up against Liyab, which they lost, by the way, on the first round robin. They lost against Liyab last time, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, they did lose out to Liyab on the last one.
And it's quite unusual to see, you know, this different side of things. They can make it a 1-1.
And a big concern here is, first Rex's concern is again, even with the vision, it's a fast grind. Oh my goodness, Rex. There's unfortunately two people.
He's waiting for the distortion.
Ah,
yep,
Nessie just takes him down.
Even using a flash.
What I was going to say here is, by strength of schedule, this is actually supposed to be one of the easier matches for Liyab, considering they already took home a victory. Liyab still have to play up against AHQ. They still have to play up against Machi a second time. They still have to play against Talon a second time. Those are your top three coming into the week that you need to find. As the action doesn't stop here, as mid lane, it's going to be just Rest splashing in for Exozen. They get the kill on over to Kaigu, but unfortunately, J-Team, they are unstoppable as Liyab are just taken apart in the mid lane. It's the ace for J-Team.
Ace, and they'll be happy about that, as not only do they open up more of the towers, destroy most of the towers of Liyab Esports, they have a lot of waves shoving towards bottom lane and as well as top side. Dragon in a minute, but let's take a look at that replay. Exosen, again, quite low, quite close rather. Oh, it's Nesty.
Oh.
That's just beautiful. Massive by J-Team. I have literally no words. That was clean. That was a pure setup. They were next to the wall.
Next to the wall, you know what's going to happen. Kiana's just going to take you down.
Whew.
And the score is looking a bit grisly here. It's 17-5. An 11,000 gold lead for J-Team.
Whew, J-Team looked really awkward, I guess would be the right word, coming into the split. They started again with most of the losses in the first round robin. Now they're picking up a few victories here and there. They've really improved after the first few games of the split. So this is very refreshing, especially Nesty, you know. Nesty doesn't usually shine, but now he's on the Kiana 415 and having all of these flashy plays.
Yeah. LYB still being consistent as ever, which unfortunately now it's on the Senna, which the Senna is now ridiculous. It's going to start doing a ton of damage. Let's see here, though. Liyab looking to position themselves to contest this Drake. Exozen already using the piercing arrow. Rex over toward the side, going up against Rest. Oh my goodness, Rest does not care. Uses the orange to try and get away. Liyab are so just trapped here at this point. ST, he's going to jump in. And oh my goodness, the Senna ultimate shines a light straight through the chest of Liyab. Taking them down. Kaigu's running for the hills. He's unstoppable. Not for much longer, though. As now J-Team looking to hunt down James, one of the lone survivors after the aftermath. Rest is still going for the 1v1 against Rex. Sure, Rex was able to get a kill, but Liyab are going up in flames.
That's going to be shut down, at least for Rex rather, but J-Team, they're going to knock on Liyab's base right now, and that's still 23 seconds on the clock for Kaigu to come back online, as Rex will watch the inhibitor fall in front of his eyes, and meanwhile, Hana will solo this dragon.
Yeah, Dragon goes over to J-Team. They get themselves their third Mountain Drake. It's a calm one here, as Hana continues his farm of both Epic Monsters and as well as Liyab members, as we take a look at the fight here, Rex is just so preoccupied with Rest over toward the side.
Exactly, and this was an okay setup, but the timing of Ruby.
Yeah, meanwhile, you saw on your live feed there was still Liyab trying to force a play, but still, this was a monster fight coming out from J-Team.
J-Team has acquired a monster lead that keeps piling up as Liyab tries to make something happen, as this has been, you know, their fallback. Like, if the early game doesn't work, they are the type of team to keep fighting and fighting and fighting for a potential outplay or potential assassination, at least maybe 1 or 2 to get that that bounty off of the heads. Especially, you know, they've already gotten one, which was Rest. Now, next on the list would be Nesty and LYB. But the only person that can really eliminate Nesty is Rex, but you'd have to put yourself in danger of a full combo. And my oh my, it's just too risky to put yourself in front of that danger.
So that now, J-Team, I don't even want to see them doing this. I want them to just end the game. It's 12th decay up. You don't need this Baron. You can easily just push in and end the game. It's such a monster lead, considering you have a fasting Senna on top of this. This was a fasting Senna in lane. She's just going to be one-shotting people soon.
Nesty
looking to hunt.
Where is he going to come
Oh, he
from?
sees him. There we go, Nesty. Knows where to go. Doi. He gets eaten up. He gets taken down. Call the Forge God comes down from Kaigu. Resting crew still doing it. LYB gets his ultimate through, and still a massive amount of damage. Exorcist forced to flash away. Kaigu at least running interference.
Ooh.
ST almost gets taken down, but Woody able to gobble him up. Rex over the wall. He's able to get the shutdown, but the kill goes back on over to Hana. Baron is secured. Still, though, the play continues. It's not over. Rest on the back line. He's a flying pirate. He's Captain Jack Sparrow at this point. It's another ace for J-Team.
And there we go. We see minions building already towards this mid lane, and that is going to be the game.
And with that, Liyab now are forced to go down to 5-8. J-Team looking to continue their run up the standings and maybe pad on a couple of the KDA stats while they're at it.
Look at that. Even staying near the fountain, Dodoi has no escape using the Cataclysm.
Uses Cataclysm. You know what they're going to do. LYB, he's trying. They're just padding. This is murder. And that's the game. J-Team with a wonderful week 4.
With Liyab, that puts them in a 5-8 score for today. And with J-Team 2-0, that is going to feel really good ending the week 4 on the third day as well.
Yeah, ending it on the third day in particular. Again, the start of the week wasn't fabulous. They ended up dropping games HK and HQ, but you were able to turn it around, and that was much needed on the side of J-Team if they want to keep their contention when it comes to the playoffs.
Exactly, and you know how they've managed to lose against, you know, some of the top of the squads, but they've also managed to win, take a game out of Talon, who is right up there in the rankings as well, and they are looking pretty good as long as they've managed to get the start that they need. And if they continue this, our power rankings from the beginning of the PCS might actually be not too far off.
I don't know. I thought they were like, you know, 4th. So if they can keep coming up,
yeah, that's true.
that's what I want to see. Liyab, on the other hand, though, losing games this week is, I'm going to say, dreadful. It's a bit of it's a dark cloud on the horizon when it comes to their seeding for playoffs, because they still have to play against AHQ for a second time. They still have to play against Mon. They still have to go against Talon. Teams that they were, again, close sometimes to beating, but otherwise have had difficulty with. And the fact that they're not going to have those 3 wins, if they automatically go down, so you're looking at a loss ratio of 11 when there's only 18 games. There's not a whole lot left to gain.
That is going to be a tough one for Liyab, especially you're right. These, you know, top 5, top 3 teams right now are lying in waiting for Liyab, and the games that they were supposed to win didn't really happen for them.
No. Didn't really happen is the best way of putting it.
Yes.
And again, this was arguably an experimental week when it came to Liyab. They wanted to try out Kaiju up in the top lane, give Kurd time to rest, time to reset possibly his mental, as well as maybe get the team back into a state where they're like, you know what, we need to get Kurd back in on this. We need to, you know, build some trust here with the teammates, because that might have been what the issue is. Because unfortunately, Kaiju, he had an awesome game one. I was hyped. It looked awesome. But the shot calling and then also the early game from Doidoi is just questionable.
Yeah, I feel like the draft is starting to hurt Liyab a little bit coming into the next few games, as they've already seen what Liyab is capable of, and they've probably already pinpointed a weakness.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights, of course, from that game. I believe we're going to start off with one of the early bot lane fights.
And this is the time where Exosen was attacked by the Abyssal Voyage and Cannon Barrage, and at that point, there is literally no escape whatsoever. There's only so much Karma can do for you. There's only the slows, there's only the shields. And this is actually the interesting decision that Hamas did, still lingering around without anyone nearby. So the W is an easy target off on that route for Hamas, and Lil V at that point was 3-1-0 after this.
Yeah, so with that, Lil V went on a bit of a rampage, and can we just cover up that gold grab? That hurts. Exosen tried. He had some decent damage, but a lot of that, again, relies on his piercing arrow poke. So as far as consistent damage, it just wasn't really there. Doidoi, again, did less damage than a Kench. I'm just not impressed with Doidoi is so... He's starting to become as coin flip as Cat Jug was at the beginning of the split.
Yeah.
It's either a lot happening from Doidoi or none. And it seems to heavily rely on this Lee Sin pick, which is a bigger concern.
And the thing is, Doidoi has never picked up Rek'Sai, so JT was like, we're just going to ban it just in case you're actually going to play at this point, because it's been popular. It has the highest win rate right now in the PCS in the jungle position. And you pair that with a LeBlanc, so it's going to have perfect synergy. And you're really pushing that Jarvan towards Doidoi. And yeah, the element of playing for top side just practically disappeared. You had a Gangplank for rest. That is usually you're basically wearing a what's it in English? Cardboard sign saying, "Dive me now," while I'm still weak.
Holding up a sign.
He's holding up the sign, exactly. But since again the dynamics have been gradually changed from Liyab, therefore that window is not available. That option at top side is not available at the moment.
Yes, and with that, J team can surge back up into the standings, poise themselves to possibly jump up into the winner side bracket. Liyab, on the other hand, it's now a question of what does the team change. They've always said that, spring isn't their primary focus, but to not make playoffs would be, I think, a disaster, especially starting off with a brand new roster of the 2 members coming in and some lane swaps too. Hana, though, arguably impressive coming out on that Gragas with the Predator. Once he had the boots, he was all over the place. That's what I want to see from Gragas's in the PCS. Yeah,
most of the Gragases we've seen so far have been quite underwhelming, I suppose, but this is, I guess, one of my most favorite Gragas performance in the PCS. So great job from Hana. He was practically everywhere. Liyab was just confused on where to start and how to even out the losses that Hana just really pressured Liyab.
Yeah, and with that too for Liyab, it's a common occurrence like the vision. You got to do a boot camp on just vision. I think that's what they need here. So we'll have to see what the team tries to change now coming into the second last week of play. There's only 3 days remaining when it comes to the PCS. So let's go ahead and take a recap of how today panned out. It was pretty much the blue side victories all the way down to the last Talon game where they were able to pick up their win against Nova. But yeah, line up the scoreboard on the left.
I think it usually has something to do with how you play with your top side. You get Rift Herald, like you're on blue side, you get Rift Herald, you trade that on the first dragon, and then you transition that to whatever top lane that you had. I think it has been a common occurrence or current theme for today, even though supposedly the gangplank from earlier, not the game between J Team and Liyab, earlier was a 2-1-0. Oh, it was the match against Resurgence. Where it was a gangplank. You got 2-1-0.
And then let's take a look toward our standings. AHQ still at the top. Machi, though, lying in wait, looking to overtake them. Talon able to slightly recover and get back into the top 3, as the Dragons still right behind them with just that 1 loss. Alpha also middle of the pack, but J-Team able to leapfrog over HKA and Liyab. And now Nova sit on the outside of the playoffs as we have a 3-way tie for 7th place.
And yeah, for Nova Esports, they have lost earlier, and hopefully by next week, everything is just going to be... I always keep saying the word reset, but it has been a important factor coming into these matches in the PCS.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately, like, there's not a whole lot more you can change, and there's so much time you can do to experiment. Sure, we are going to be shifting our patch over to 10.6, I believe, next weekend. But I don't know how much that's going to change the meta. So I think we're kind of locked into what we expect here. I am happy, though, that Machi has kind of stepped to the table and kind of overtaken Talon. I think Talon was starting to get a little bit too comfortable with a lot of their compositions. So I think teams punishing them now will help them when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's all about who has been, you know, using the first split to find their center, find their identity in the tournament, and also expand their different play styles and see which works and which does not. So that's the reason why we see a change or a shift in some of these teams from slow to a more aggressive style, and I'm really, really happy to see, you know, the growth and improvement and the exciting matches that we've had so far.
Yeah, and more matches to come on Friday. Ooh, Liyab, they start off with those 2 big teams lying in wait, looking to maybe hammer down their record. So you got 4 days, Liyab, to try and fix up some of these issues. Nova versus HKA is actually a massive match of importance, as well as the Machi games as they look to overtake AHQ.
Yep, and that's going to be a tough one for Liyab. First thing for Friday, AHQ and then Talon as well. So hopefully we get to see an improvement after today.
Yeah, and as always, guys, it was myself and Riku. You guys can see our handles below if you guys want to follow. We're always active on Twitter. We always try and share a bunch of the team content as well as the news and happening around the PCS. For now, though, from myself and our very production staff of myself and Riku, we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you guys for tuning on in, and we'll see you next week.